Hi, I am Ashok. So, in today's topic, we are going to discuss about percentages. So, what we are going to do here is, in the first one or two slides, we are going to discuss what is percentages and all. Don't worry, we are not going to read everything just as a PPT. I'm just going to explain what is actually happening there. Then after that, we are going to cover different kind of percentage topic problems. So, this video is going to be of two chapters in the sense wherever you see that dot on the slide bar. If you directly want to solve the problem, jump back to there. But if you are a beginner, my suggestion is stick to the introduction part. So without further delay, let's get started. Now, first thing, what is meant by percentages or what is meant by percent? So percentage is like expressing anything out of 100. Like what you are going to do is the whole value you are going to take it as 100, and whatever the value he is going to ask, you are going to find out that one. You'll understand that better. Just give me 1 or 2 minutes. Now, first let's start where you can apply these percentage concepts. The first one that we are going to discuss is discounts. Let us take you are buying something from Amazon or Flipkart. Obviously, you are going to get discounts. So, how to calculate those discounts? That is the best example of percentages. Or let us take interest rate. See, generally, whenever you are taking money from banks like this, or some money lender, what happens there is they are not going to give you interest in terms of rupees. Like they don't say that pay me 10 rupees, or they don't say like pay me 1,000 rupees. Generally what they will do is they will tell you some percentage, like give me 10% as my interest, or give me 20% as my interest. That means, see, the reason there is, let us take I am taking 1 lakh and you are taking only 10,000. They can't charge the same amount of interest for both of us. So that's why generally they will go for percentages. Let us take, if I take 1 lakh rupees, I'm going to pay 10% as interest, which is 10,000. Or let us take you are taking only 10,000 and you are going to pay 10% interest, means you are going to pay only 1,000. So like that, percentage will give you clear idea. Or let us take you are doing some research and you are having some changes in the values. How much change is there? That you can calculate by using percentages. Or if I want to make it further simple, I will give an example. Let us take we are having Ram and Lakshman, two persons. One person got 50 marks and one person got 100 marks. Now, who is performing better there? See, simply by looking at the marks, we can't directly decide. Why? Because this exam may be for only 50 marks and he got 50 out of 50. And this exam may be for 200 marks and Lakshman got only 100. But if I say like this, Ram got 90 percentage in the exam and Lakshman got only 30 percentage in the exam, just for example. Then I can say Ram is performing better than Lakshman. So to compare the values, to find out the interest values, to understand discounts, to do the experiments, for all these, we are going to need percentages. That's the main advantage here. So that is the same thing I have given you. So what is meant by percentage here? A percentage is a way of expressing a number as a fraction of 100. So if I want to say, let us take that you got 25 marks in a 50 marks exam. The exam is for 50 marks, but you got only 25. So how well you performed there? Like for example, I got 25 out of 50. This will give me, okay, 50%. That means you exactly performed up to 50%, because the whole value of the exam we are going to take it as 100. So if you are treating your whole marks of the exam as 100, okay, 50 means what? You only answered off, or you only performed up to 50% of the potential. So percentage will give you the clear understanding of what's actually happening there. I will give you one last example, then we'll move on. Let us take that I am studying from state board and you are, let us take CBSE students, but both of us are going for one engineering college. Then how they are going to understand that how much performed, I mean how much well we performed in the previous years, like in the earlier studies. Why? Because let us take, just for example, let us assume that they are going to conduct the exam for 1200 marks and the state board is conducting the exam for only 1000 marks, like all the subjects together. Then you are writing the exam for 1200, I am writing the exam for only 1000. Then how is it possible to compare us? Now let us take, I got 80 percentile or 80 percentage in my examination in my state board, and let us take you got 90%, then it's very easy to say that you are performing well or better than me. Or if you're feeling like that CBSE is difficult, or take like two different colleges, like you are coming from one college and I am coming from other college. So how they are going to understand that? Because nowadays some universities are kind of conducting their own exams like autonomous colleges. How they are going to compare? They can use percentages. So percentages will give you clear idea of what's actually happening there. Okay, let's move on. So the important thing we have to understand here is percentage to fraction calculation. Why? Because sometimes when you are doing the calculation, no, directly doing the problems with percentage is gonna look somewhat difficult. But if you do with fractions, it's gonna become very easy. For example, let us take that I am taking 32,000 rupees from someone, and they are saying that 25% is my rate of interest. Like every year I have to pay them back 25%. Don't worry, we'll understand all these terms when we move on to the later on topics. Now 25% means whatever you are taking, you are going to give 25% of this value as the interest. But if I do this one, 25 percentage of our 32,000, this is how you are going to calculate the 100. For example, 5 percentage of x means 5 by 100 into x. So what is actually happening here is we are going to take 100% value as our x, and we are going to find out what is 5 value. If 100 is your total, then what is 5? That's why we are going to write it as this one. So if your 100 value is x, then what is the 5 value? That's the meaning of 5 percentage of x. Like that, what is 25% of 32,000? That means your whole value is 32,000. Then what is 25 value in that? You are going to get 8,000. But instead of calculating 25%, you can directly calculate 1 by 4th of the value. You are going to get the same answer, 1 by 4th of 32,000. So how you are going to get that? Like how you know what percentage is for what fraction, or what fraction is for what percentage? That's what we are going to discuss here. Now think like this. See here, if I multiply any number with 1, I am going to get exactly 100%. 100% means the whole exact number. If I multiply with 1 by 2, I am going to get exactly half of the number, which is 50%. Now see, when 1 will become 100 if you multiply with 100. When 1 by 2 will become 50 if you multiply with 100. So whenever you want to convert your fraction into percentage, simply multiply the value with 100. For example, I want to know what is 1 by 4 fraction value in terms of percentage. Then I am going to multiply this value with 100. I am going to get 25%. Similarly, let us take I am having 25% and I want to find out what is the fractional value. Like which fraction I can replace with 25%. See, fraction to percentage you are going to multiply with 100, but percentage to fraction you are going to divide with 100. For example, 25% means 25 by 100, that is equal to 1 by 4. So 25 percentage equivalent to in the fractional value of 1 by 4. Like that, at least you have to learn from 1 by 1 to 1 by 15. These are not that much difficult. These are actually pretty much easy. For example, see here, if you know 100, half is going to be 50, 50 off is going to be 25, 25 off is going to be 12.5, and 12.5 off is going to be 6.25, which is going to be come later on 1 by 16. So if you learn some values, you can learn all the values. For example, see here, for 1 by 9 you are going to get 11.11. For 11s you are going to get 9s. Similarly, if you can learn 33.33, which is 1 by 3, 1 by 6 is going to be exactly half of that value. That's why 16.66. Similarly, if you can learn 1 by 7, 1 by 4 is going to be exactly half of 1 by 7. The same thing for 1 by 6. If you know 1 by 6, you can also calculate for 1 by 12, which is off. So you are going to learn very few values, but by using those values, you can calculate the others. So in my opinion, the only value you have to remember here is this one, 1 by 13. Because whenever they want to make the problems difficult, generally they go for 7.69%, which is 1 by 13. So if you're directly calculating for 7.69, the problem is going to be much difficult. That's why replace 7.69 percentage with 1 by 13. The problem is going to be much easier. For example, let us take that. I am asking you to calculate 33.33 percentage of 18, which is difficult. But if you replace 30, how you are going to write 33.33 by 100 into 18? This is what you are going to do. But instead of doing like this, I know that 33.33 is equal to 1 by 3. So I am going to write 1 by 3 in place of that percentage. So then my problem will become much easier. So whenever you are having different or difficult calculations when dealing with the percentages, always go for fractions. That's going to give you somewhat clear idea and easiest answers. Okay, so that's our percentage to fraction calculation. Now, this all you can read. I will upload the PPT in the Telegram group. You can download from there. So the only thing is, whenever you are solving the problems on percentage, try to understand what was given in the problem. Why? Because in some problems, what they will do is they will try to use the word remaining. Let us take, I'm having some salary. I'm using 50% of my salary on, let us take that some room rent. How much is remaining? 50. They will say 50% of the remaining. They won't say 50% of the original. They will say 50% of the remaining, which is actually only 25. So they will use these kind of words. That's why try to understand what was given in the problem. Okay. Next, try to write the equations by identifying the important parts. And remember, while calculating the percentage, you have to decide whether to use the fraction or percentage. If you're using the percentage, just, for example, 5 is what percentage of 10? 5 is what percent of 10? See, that is 5 by 10 into 100, which is equal to 50%. So remember, when somebody is asking you, X is what percentage of y, always remember it will be x by y into 100. Guys, don't confuse between these two words. That is, see, x percentage of y equal to x by 100 into y. Okay, but x is what percentage of y means x by y into 100. Like for example, I will take this one. Now let us take that 5% of 20. 5% of 20 means 5 by 100 into 20, which is equal to exactly 1. But 5 is what percentage of 20? Then 5 by 20 into 100, that equal to 25%. Both of them are completely different. 5% means you are finding out the value. Then if 5 is what percent means you are finding out one value is what percent of the other value. Then it will be x by y into 100. Just remember these two things. You are going to get a lot of this calculation when you are solving data interpretation topic. Okay, so x percent of y and x is what percent of y. Be careful with both of them. Now, without further delay, instead of explaining everything in terms of definition, let's directly dive into the problems. You will understand what is actually happening there. Now, what I'm going to do is for the first one or two problems, I'm going to tell you how to do it like in a general way, but how to do it using a smart way. Whichever you feel comfortable, follow that one. For example, see here, Ashok spends 20% of his monthly salary on house rent. Okay, house rent we're spending 20% and 25% on food. Okay, food we're spending 25% and transportation we're spending 11% and 15% on education of these children and 19% on household expenses, and he's saving the remaining 5,000. You need to find out monthly salary. So remember, whenever you are getting salary, you are going to use something that is like your expenditure and you are going to save something. Let us take that my salary is 1,000. If I'm using 800, this remaining 200 is going to be my saving, the same thing. So what you can do is, if you want, you can solve the problem like this by taking x equal to some salary like this. Now assume that your salary is equal to some x. Now what are your expenditures? 20% of x as house rent and 25 percentage of X as your food, and 11 percentage transportation, 15 percentage of X as education, and 19% as household expenses. These are all your expenses plus your savings of 5,000. We are having only one equation and only unknown variable of 1. You can combine all of them, like for example 20 plus 25, 45, 46, 56, 61, 71, 80, 90. So you almost got 90 percentage of X is equal to, like original X equal to 90% of your expenditures plus 5,000. If you subtract, you are going to get 10 percentage of X equal to your 5,000. Then what will happen to X value? Your monthly salary is going to be 50,000, which is X. But the problem here is, for this much of small problem, do we need to do all this? No. That is like too much of a hectic procedure. What we are doing, we're assuming the salary of X, then we're calculating all the expenditures, and then we're equating plus salary, we're equating it to again salary. So salary equal to expenditure plus savings. We are using that logic to find out the answer. But the thing here is, this seems too much when you're solving the easiest kind of problems. But remember, your total value, I told you, when you are calculating with percentages, total value is always equal to 100. Why can't you use that logic? Let's use that one. See, at any point of time, I don't want to make you boring. That's why I'm continuously teaching here. But if you are feeling that, you are unable to understand, just pause the video, then watch the solution, then listen it once again. Then it will become much clear. Okay. Now, instead of doing all this by taking X and all, my suggestion is go with percentage concept. We know whole value is 100, then take 100 equal to your salary. So what is meant by that is, instead of doing all this, what you can do is assume that your salary equal to 100. Now how much you're spending? 20% household, like 20. See, why I'm taking 100 is, you can take whatever the number you want, it is not going to change the answer. But see this one, what is our house rent? 20 percentage of your salary. Sorry, 20 percentage of your salary here. Now if I take 100, what will happen? These two will get cancelled and I can directly take the number itself. But if what if I take 200? Then again I have to multiply the value with 2, which is difficult. Why? Because if I take 200 here, it will cancel 2 times. Then 20 into 20, my house rent is going to be 40. Why to do the unnecessary calculation when you can just cancel them exactly? That's why whenever you are solving any problem in percentages, if you are having all the terms in terms of percentages, take the whole value as 100 and take the start the problem. That's going to make your calculation much simple. So assume that your total salary is equal to 100. Now in that you are spending 20 rupees on house rent, okay, 25 rupees on food, because 25 percentage of 100 is 25 only, 11 rupees on transportation, 15 rupees on education, and 19 rupees on your household expenses. So these are all your expenses. So what is the total expense? 10, 10, 20, and yeah, 90. So you are getting the total expense of 90 rupees. That means your salary is 100. In that you are spending 90 rupees. What is the remaining? 10 rupees. That 10 rupees is going to be your saving. But in the original problem, that is 5,000. So my problem 10 rupees is equals to original problem's 5,000. What I want to find out? Monthly salary, which I assumed as 100. 100 equal to how much? Just do the cross multiplication. You will directly get the same answer. So what I'm saying, always take the total value is 100. Do the problem on 100. Then just compare what you are having, what they have given. Remaining all the values you can just find out by doing cross multiplication. For example, he is asking you what is the house rent, or in the first case, what is the house rent? So I know that 10% saving equal to 5,000. Then house rent is 20. So 20 equal to how much? You can directly say the answer is 10,000. Whatever you are having, take it as whatever given there. For example, my left out is 10, original problem saving is 5,000. So my problem 10 is equal to original problem 5,000. Remaining all the values you can find out just by doing cross multiplication of the values. Okay, have a look at the problem, then we'll move on to the next one. Now, so see this one. We're having the same guy. Ajay is spending 30% he received from his uncle on hostel expense. So he is getting some amount. In that he is spending 30% on you know hostel and 30% on books. And remember this word, 50% of the remaining. That means whatever the leftover part is there, in that 50% he is spending on transportation and he is saving 440 rupees, which is half of the remaining. Understand the words. See, after spending all this, he is going to save something. In that saving, half is equal to 440. So what we are having? We're having total amount. In that we're spending 30, 30, and remaining amount in that off. We're spending on transportation. After all this, we are going to save something. And half of that savings is 440. Based on that, you need to find out how much money he is getting from his uncle, like the total value, this one. You need to find out. So in a way, we know the total value, you can directly take it as 100. Why? Because we're dealing with percentages. It is much better to assume 100. So assume that total money that Ajay got is equal to 100. Like from this uncle, he's got 100. Now in that, 30 rupees he spent on hostel. Done. Over. Next again, 30 rupees he spent on books and stationery. Why? Because 30% of 100 is equal to 30. Now how much is over together? We already spent 60. But our total value is 100. What are the remaining? 40 rupees. So 50% of the remaining he spent on transportation. 50% means what? We know that 50% is nothing but off. That means he is spending 20 rupees on transportation. So out of 40, he spent 20 rupees on transportation. So how much is the remaining? 20. 20 of the original. Okay. We're having 100. In that 30 hostel, 30 books. Remaining 60. In that off, okay, in that 60, 50%. 60 is over. Yeah. Already 60 is over. Like 30 on hostel, 30 on books. 60 is we already spent and remaining is 40. In that remaining 50% he is spending on what is 40 is 50%? 20 rupees. He is spending on transportation. Now how much is the saving here? 20. But he is saying that this 440 is half of the remaining amount after spending on all this like hostel, books and transportation. So after spending all this, we left out with 20. Half of 20 is actually 10. So in our problem, half of the saving is 10. But in the original problem, half of the saving is 440. What we need to find out, how much he got from his uncle, how much he got? 100. So 100 is equal to how much? Just do the cross multiplication. You'll get your answer. See, 10 value is 440. I'm multiplying 10 with 10. I'm getting 100. Here also I'm multiplying with 10. Or you can just do the cross multiplication. Both of them will give you the same answer. So what I want to say here is instead of taking x and all, always take the total value as 100 and do the problem. That will make it somewhat better and simple. So let's solve few more problems for your understanding. Now these are very important. See, so people generally are going to take it in a wrong way and they don't read the problem properly. That's why read it properly, then try to understand what's actually happening. Then you can do the comparison. See here. In an examination, it is required to get 35% of the marks to pass. So let us take, I'm writing the exam for 100. In that, 35 marks is my pass. What is 35% of 100? But the thing here is, Rakesh got 216 marks and declared failed by 5%. That means he got 5% of the marks less. Now listen, 5% of the marks less means he actually got only 30% of the marks. Our total marks are 100. In that 35% is the pass. But he got failed by 5% less. That means he didn't got 35. He got 5% less than 35. That means he got only 30. So in my problem, he actually got only 30% of the problem. Sorry, 30% of the total mark. But in the problem, he mentioned that he got how many marks? 216. So my problem, I mean, in my percentage assumptions, I got only 30. But in the original problem, he got 216. So 30% is how much we got according to our 100 reference. But 216 is how much he got according to the original problem. So my problem 30, original problem 216. You need to find out what is that total marks. according to that's my problem 100 is total marks, then what is the corresponding value in the original problem? Just do the cross multiplication. That's the advantage of doing with percentages. So take 100 original, 35 is the pass, but he got failed by 5, so he got only 30. So my problem 30, how much he got in the original problem? My problem total mark, how much he got in the original problem? This is as simple as that. Okay, you can find out all the values just by doing cross multiplication. So whenever you come across percentages, always take 100 as your starting point. That will make your problem in much simpler manner. Now be careful this increase and decrease. Now I'll tell you why. Listen very carefully. We'll come back to the problem in a while. But let us take. Let us assume that my salary is 100 rupees. I performed very well in the previous month. So they increased my salary by 10%. Okay. Now, how much is my salary? So 10% of 100 is 10 rupees. So my present salary is 110. Okay. Now the question comes. On the next term, what happens there is, because of laziness or because of this arrogance, what I did is, I didn't perform well. Then what they did is, they reduced my salary by 10%. But remember, this 10% is not an initial value. This 10% is on the present value. That means that what is 10% of 110? Actually 11 rupees. So my salary came back to 99 but not to 100. So remember, if you increase by the same percentage and if you decrease by the same percentage, you are never going to get back to the original value. So what people will do is they will think like this. If I increase 10, if I decrease 10, I will come back to 100. No, that's not the case. So remember, percentage increase and percentage decrease are not same. And second thing, yeah. So see here, Aditya's salary was increased by 40, then decreased by 25. Now you need to find out what is the net effect on Aditya's salary. For example, let us assume that Aditya's salary equal to 100 rupees, our convenience. Now, in that, we are going to increase the salary by 40%, right? So, let's increase 40% of the salary. So, what is 40% of 100? Just 40. So, we are going to increase Aditya's salary by 40, and now the present salary is 140. Okay. Now, then they decrease it by 25. Now, we have decreased this salary by 25. Now let's find out what is 25 percentage of 140. Or you can also do for 1 by 4. Both of them are exactly the same. So 3 fours 12, 5 fours 20. So we have to reduce it by 35 rupees. So 25 percentage of 140 is going to be 35. So 140 they're reducing it by 35. Now what is the remaining salary? 105. So because of increasing it by 40 and decreasing it by 25, on overall he got net effect of 5% more, or you can say his salary got just increased by 5% because initially 100, now it's became 105. So there is a chance increase of 5%. Do like this, or you can use this formula: a plus b plus ab by 100. So what is meant by that? See, if there is increasing, take the positive value. If it is decreased, take the negative value. Like in our case, first increased by 40% plus, then decreased by 25%. Okay, then a into b, 40 into minus 25 by 100. This will directly give you the value as a 5. So that the salary got increased directly by 5%. So if it is positive, take plus. If it is negative, take minus. That will give you net effect value. Or my suggestion is, in generally, I will go this method. This seems much comfortable for me. Okay. But remember, when you are decreasing the second time, you have to decrease on the present value at that time, but not on the initial value. Most people, what they will do is they increasing 40, reducing 25. They will write the answer as 15, which is wrong. You are going to get only 5. Understand that? Then you can solve it somewhat in a better way. I hope it is clear. Let's move on to the next one. Before moving on, I will tell you one more technique to calculate percentages. Now, see here. Remember, when you are simplifying, A percentage of B is always equal to B percentage of A. What is meant by that? For example, somebody asked me to calculate, okay, 50% of, somebody asked me to calculate 50% of 200. 50% means what? 1 by 2. Or you can also calculate 200% of 50. Both will give you the same answer. Why? See, this is how you are going to write 50% of 200. Then how you are going to write 200% of 50? Like this. If you observe 50, 200, 50, 200, by 100, by 100. You will get exactly the same answer. Okay. So that it will make your problem somewhat easier while solving for some numbers. For example, let us take, I want to find out 36% of 50, which is kind of difficult to think. But if I make it reverse, 50% of 36, what is 50% of? So the answer is going to be simply 18. The same calculation, but sometimes to do it fast, it will help you to think that A percentage of B is also equal to B percentage of A. Remember that one point. Okay. And similarly, we have to learn about percentage increase and decrease. That I will tell you now. Let's go. We'll see that one. Hmm. So here, what is it? A student multiplied a number by 3 by 5. So let us take that. Let us take that number equal to some x. You can take x or you can take some other number, that's completely fine, no issue. So let us take that a student multiplied a number by a number by 3 by 5. So let us take x into 3 by 5 instead of 5 by 3. So what is the original number? 5 by 3. Now see, the actual number you have to multiply with 5 by 3. But you did it 3 by 5. Then what is the percentage error? For that, we need to learn about percentage change calculation. Percentage change means how much the value is getting changed in terms of percentage. So I will come back to the problem again. Before that, I will explain what is meant by this percentage change. So percentage change is always equal to final value minus initial value by initial value into 100. So what is meant by that? So let us take, I am having 100 and I want to make it 120. How much I have to increase this 100? See, I am having 100, or let us think like this. One of my employees' salary is 100. Okay, I want to give him 120 rupees as my salary next month. Then how much percentage I have to increase his salary? Then what I need to do? So see here. So whenever if I want to know how much I have to increase, you can use this formula, percentage change. So where we are reaching? We are reaching up to 120 and we are starting at 100. Then what is the initial value again? 100 into 100. Final minus initial by initial into 100. That will directly give you 20%. That means that if you increase this value by 20%, what is 20% of 100? 20. You will get this value. That's the meaning of percentage increase. So if you are having some final value and you are having some initial value, how much you have to increase your initial value to reach the final value? That's what we are going to find out in percentage change. We'll solve one more problem. Let us take that I am having 110 and I want to make it 99. So obviously we have to decrease here. So let us see how much percentage we have to decrease. So our final value is 99. Our initial value is 110. And again the initial value is 110 into 100. So minus 11 by 110 into 100. So we are going to get minus 10%. That means you take this value and reduce it by 10%. What is 10% of 110? 11 rupees. So if you reduce it by 11, you will get this value. So you are having some initial value and you want to reach some final value. How much you have to increase or decrease, that you can find out by percentage change. You can learn the same formula. If it is plus, you have to increase the percentage, or if it is minus, you have to reduce from the percentage. That is as simple as that. So remember, percentage change is always equal to final value minus initial value by initial value into 100. One last example, we'll move on to the problem. Okay. Now think like this. Uh, uh, let us take that there is exam for 100 marks and I got only 50 in the first test and I want to make it 80 on the next test. So how much I have to increase my performance? The exam is for 100 marks, but I got only 50 in the first test. By the next time, I want to make my score as 80. So how much performance I have to increase? Simple thing. Initial final minus initial by initial into 100. 30 by 50 into 100. 3 by 5. 3 by 5 means 60%. If you simplify, you'll get that one. So I have to increase my performance by 60% to reach my desired score. Actually, I'm getting 50 and I want to get 80 means I have to increase my performance by 60%. I have to struggle 60% more to reach my goal. That's the meaning of percentage change. To reach one certain goal, how much you have to increase or decrease your initial value. That will give you from percentage change. Okay, now let's go back to our problem here. So here, what was given there? We're multiplying the number by 3 by 5. So the number is 3 by 5x instead of 5 by 3. So this is the original number and this is the, you know, this is the original number and this is the wrong number. So how much percentage change is there? Original number minus failed by original number into, sorry, original number into 100. As you can see, all this calculation seems difficult. You are going to get the answer. There is no doubt. Let us take, if you are having difficulties. So let us take the LCM equal to 15. So here 5 into 5, 25x minus, so 3 into 3, 9x by 5 by 3 x. So here you are going to get the answer. There is no doubt at all. So here it is how much? 16 by 15 into, we can cancel x and x. There is no doubt at all. So I will take it as 3 by 5. So how much you are getting? All this calculation will give you the answer. That's for sure. So let us see how much you are getting. I don't want to do the entire calculation. Let us check directly using calculator. I will tell you one more way because 3 by 15 by 5 into 100, which will give you almost 64 percentage of error, which is kind of difficult to do. So what I'm going to do is, instead of doing all this, what I'm going to assume here is I will take a number which will make my problem somewhat easy. Like, see here, why to take x? You can take any number of your choice. No. So instead of taking all this, what I'm going to do is, see, if you simplify, you are going to get 64% here. That's other thing. But what I'm saying is, instead of doing all this calculation, find your LCM, cancelling and all those, what you can do is you can make it simple. See, you can take any number here in place of x. Then why to take this x itself? What I will do is I will take such a number which will cancel my denominators. Because anyway, I'm dividing with 5 here, dividing with 3. So tell me a number which can cancel both 5 and 3. The easiest one is 15 LCM. So let us assume that our original number is equal to 15. Then, now what is the present number? 3 by 5 of 15, that is 9. So we got 9 now, but the original number has to be 5 by 3 into 15, which is 25. Yes or no? So our original is 25, but we got 9. So what is the error here? 25 minus 9 by 25 into 100. Now see, so it is around 16, and here this is 4, which is equal to 64%. The same answer you are going to get there. But this is much easier. No. So whenever you are dealing with some fractions or percentages, try to understand where you can replace 100. Here also, if you want, you can replace the 100. There is no doubt. But why to make it complicated? 15 is gonna make my problem much simple. So whenever you are doing with percentages, the actual numbers doesn't matter as long as you know the concept. So I want to make my problem simple. That's why I have taken 15 in place of x and I got the same percentage. Is it clear? So let's move on to the next one. So in election problems are very common when you are solving for competitive exams. So let's do it. In an election between two candidates, one got 55% of the total valid votes. So see, total assume that total votes are 100 because whatever we are doing, the total value is always equal to 100. In that, 20% of the votes were invalid. So 20 are invalid. So how much is the valid? 80. Okay. If the total number of votes were invalid, if the total number of votes were 7,500, the number of valid votes that the other candidate got. So you need to find out, see, we're having 100 total votes value as 7,500. And you need to find out how much the other person got. See, out of this valid votes, 55 percentage went to the winner because he got 55% of the valid votes. Now what I'm saying is, now your valid votes are total, like 100 percentage. In that 100, 55 percentage went to the winner. That means the loser got how much? 45%. What is, see, 45% of not original, 45% of valid votes. So what is 45% of our 80? 45% of 80. You can simplify, 0 0 cancel, 2 5s 10s, 9 5s 45, and here 4 times. So actually 45% of 80 means that's actually only 36. See, that means to out of total 80 votes, 36 went to the winner. But we know that our 100 total votes is equal to 7500, and we need to find out 36 in our problem is equal to how much. So 36 into 7500 by 100. Okay. So if you want, you can, I will do one thing. 325s and 425 will cancel here. It's easy, no? So you are going to get 2700 as the votes went to the loser candidate. So remember here, what we're doing, we're taking 100% votes as 7500. But in that, 25% are invalid. So valid are only 80. In that 80, winner got 55, means loser got 45. So what is 45% of valid votes? That is 45% of our 80, 36. So our problem, the votes went to the other candidates 36. But we want to find out in original problem. That's why our problem total votes equal to how much in the original problem. Our problem 36 equal to how much? Just do the cross multiplication. You will get total number of votes. Okay. Now, so we'll solve one more before winding it up. That is the same percentage change concept. See, all of these are of like different models. Okay, please join in the Telegram group. There I will share my notes. There you can have a few more problems for practice. Okay, let's go. If A's salary is 20% higher than B, okay, let us take B's salary equal to 80, 20% higher than B. Okay, then we'll do something. B equal to 100, then A has to be 120. Then B is how much less than A? Listen, whenever you are finding out this percentage less or more, you should not take directly 20. I told you, if you increase by 20 and you are decreasing by 20, both of them are not equal. So if A is 20% higher, doesn't mean that B is 20% lower. Remember this. If A is 20% more than B, not equal to B is 20% less than A, then see what we have to do here. See, A's salary has to be 20% more than B. That's why I'm taking B equal to 100 and A equal to 20% more means 120. Now, we need to find out how much this B's salary is less than A's salary. Remember, than is always going to tell you who we have taken as a referent. So if A is 120, how much B is less? So how much it is less? 20. Listen, 20 number, but we want percentage change. So percentage change is always equal to final value minus initial value by initial value into 100. That is minus 20 by 120 into 100. 1 by 6 means that is less by 16.66% only, but not 20. Now you may ask, what is this and what is actually happening here? Let's take an example. Assume that B's salary equal to 100 and A's salary equal to 120. What is the percentage? See, after then we're having B, that's why we're taking B as initial point. If B is the reference point, A is 20% more. Are we getting the same answer here? Let us check. So percentage change equal to final value minus initial value by initial value into 100. We got 20 or not? That means this person is 20% more than this person. Now the reverse case. If you take A as a reference, 120, then this guy, 100 guy, how much he is less? Don't take 20. That 20 is number, but we want percentage. So here our final value is 100 because we are this time taking a as our reference. So a has to be in the denominator. This time you are going to get 16.66. So if a is 20% higher than b is 16.66 percentage less than a. So whenever you are having this percentage change or salary problems, whatever the word you are having after than, take it in the denominator. No, that is wrong, but wrong in the sense it's a by hearting rule. You should not remember like this, but in while solving the examination, remember like this. Whatever the word you are having after than, that has to be in the denominator. So in this case, we're having than b, that's why we're writing b in the denominator. But here we're having a in after than, that's why we're taking a in the denominator. So if my salary is 20% more than you, your salary is going to be 16.66 percentage less than b. Why? Because in the first case, we're comparing with respect to b. But in the second case, we are comparing with respect to A. It is like this. My salary increased by 10%. Now my salary is decreased by 10%. So first case we are respecting to B. Second case we are respecting to A. So the base is going to change when you are comparing. That's why you are getting not 20, only 16.66. So these are kind of very important problems and important models in percentages. If you are having any doubt up to here, just leave me a message in the Telegram, or you can just comment it here. I will try to reply as fast as you can. Or if you're having any suggestions, please let me know in the comments. I will try to clarify them. Okay, guys, that's it for today's class. Thank you for joining. Have a good day.